Welcome to Photo4A's Desktop Reviews. My name is John Weinberg, and today we're going to be talking about podcasts. Over the last couple of years, podcasts have had a really big impact on my photography, as well as pushed me to do things that I never would have otherwise done, like this YouTube channel, for instance. I'm also going to be jumping into the podcasting game as well, and we'll talk about that towards the end of this video. So let's check out the podcasts that I've been listening to. The first one is This Week in Photo, and it's hosted by Frederick Van Johnson. He hosts a roundtable discussion about all things photography related. He's a great resource. He has a different group of people every week and some really unique perspectives on everything you can imagine, everything from copyright issues to what's going on with drones in photography. He's also spawned a few other podcasts as well. One's called Street Focus, hosted by Valerie Jardin. And All About the Gear is another one as well. Curious to see where he goes from here. It's definitely grown a lot over the last 2 years, and I'm looking forward to the future. Once again, it's This Week in Photo, hosted by Frederick Van Johnson. The next one is The Digital Story, hosted by Derek Story. He actually is a local guy. I'm about an hour's north of San Francisco in the wine country, and Derek is as well. And it's neat to see somebody that's local that's in the game. He has a unique perspective in that he's an Apple Aperture user, and Apple has decided to discontinue that software. And he's got some unique perspectives on where to go from here, whether it's going to Lightroom or other software products that exist, or whether it's photos with Apple's new product that they're switching over to. He also has a sister website called The Nimble Photographer, and it's all about being that nimble in your photography. He's got some lightweight kits. He's into Micro Four Thirds systems, and mirrorless systems, and gives you some options on how to stay light and nimble. So once again, The Digital Story with Derek Story. It's about an hour long, and he has some great topics on there. The next one is Fro Knows Photo. Jared Poland hosts the Raw Talk, and Jared has a unique style. You gotta check him out to understand what I'm talking about. It took me 2 or 3 before I decided to keep watching. I wasn't real sure at first. He's unique. I'm gonna leave it up to you to figure that out when you see him, if you're checking him out for the first time. He's got a great sense of humor, and it's been pretty amazing watching where he's come from and where he's taking this whole website and YouTube channel and podcast. He's increased his quality over time. The video quality is fantastic. The audio quality is great. He's actually taught me a ton about audio. I am definitely not an audio person, and figuring out microphones and how they work is a challenge for me. And most of what I've got going on here is because of watching this podcast and also checking out his site. Huge resource on YouTube, a ton of free content. A lot of it's for beginning photographers, people that are wanting to get into the business but don't have a ton of information. It's a great resource to get you started. But there's also stuff in there for people that have been in the industry for a while, and he's got a great unique way of looking at the industry, and he's been able to create a solid footing using his YouTube channel, his website, his podcast. I look up to him in that he's got a huge following. If I'm lucky enough to get to that point someday, I'll count my lucky stars. So Jared Poland, Fro Knows Photo, Raw Talk. It's something that I think you should check out and listen to, and if you can get past some of the quirks, he's definitely worth watching and listening to. About a 2-hour podcast. He's got a couple helpers on there, the 2 Stevens, and just some young guys having a good time. Great sense of humor, and I get a good laugh no matter what. I know I'm gonna laugh during his podcast. So that's Jared Poland, Fro Knows Photo, Raw Talk. The next one is not a photography podcast. It's actually an interview podcast. It is hosted by an old MTV personality, Chris Hardwick. Chris has a unique way of interviewing people that kind of, peels the layers of the onion back, is the only way I can describe it. You get to know a lot about the people that he's interviewing, and he really pries, beneath the surface and brings out, who the people really are, and he makes them really comfortable. And he's somebody that I want to learn from over time. I'm envious of his style, and I hope I can become even half the interviewer that he is. There's one interview with Jeff Bridges that I think is a must listen to. Jeff Bridges is a character, and I had a lot of fun listening to that podcast, and I recommend it highly. So once again, Chris Hardwick and the Nerdist podcast. It's, I think, one of the most popular podcasts online, so it shouldn't be hard to find. All these are available on iTunes, by the way, downloadable, or you can go to these individual websites to check them out. This one's nerdist.com. So the next one is The Art of Photography, and this is hosted by Ted Forbes. Ted has jumped into the game full-time, quit his full-time job, and is, it's kind of make or break time. I have to give him a lot of credit for taking the chance. He has some amazing content. He covers, obviously, the art side of photography. He has pushed my photography to a level that I never imagined. I've always been a more documentary style photographer and haven't really taken the time to look at lighting or shadows or, how, leading lines, affect my image, or just, composition. Just by watching his podcast, it's given me a new perspective into my own photography and into photography as a whole. More appreciation for the past masters. He covers them as well as people that are new, that have some amazing, art photography. And I took an image that I was at Alcatraz, and I saw this window, and it was kind of a grungy window, and I could see the Golden Gate Bridge through it in the distance. And it was an image that I never would have tried in the past. I would have, walked by it, never thought about it, but I was actually able to make a, pretty, what I think is a pretty cool image, and something that I'm getting a lot of enjoyment, from having taken it. And, I'll be sharing that with you as well on my website. You can go to photophori.com and see my work. I'll go over that in a second. But Ted Forbes, once again, got to give him a lot of credit for jumping, 100% into the game and putting out there some pretty amazing content. He's big on Twitter, has a really neat book giveaway that he's been doing, and he's connecting people on Twitter through the hashtag AOPBG. Once again, hashtag AOPBG, and people are sharing their images over, the topic of, whatever Ted covered during his, book giveaway. He's given away, I think, 1 or 2 different books so far, and he's continuing to do that. And it's a different type of image each time that he's having people share, and then he picks one of the images as, his favorite, or, the best image he sees out of that group. But he's been connecting people with each other through Twitter using his podcast, and kind of created a little community, on Twitter through that. So once again, The Art of Photography, hosted by Ted Forbes. So that brings me to my podcast, The Hot Shoe, available on iTunes for download. If you type in The Hot Shoe, it'll come up. And I'm going to be covering all topics photography. Right now, I'm kind of just all over the place trying to figure out what's going to work and what people are interested in. And my first episode is already up. You can check that out. It's kind of an introductory episode. And the next one should be up here within the next week. And we'll see where it goes. I'm hoping just to create a conversation, get people talking about what's going on in photography. I'm not picky. If you have an iPhone or a point and shoot or a DSLR or a film camera, it doesn't matter to me what you shoot with or how you shoot. I'm all about the love of photography. And it's something that's been part of my life since I was, 9 years old, when I had an oatmeal box as my first camera. I've worked with, chemistry prints, and seeing that image, from that blank white piece of paper slowly, coming into view through the chemistry was an amazing thing to me as a kid. And I love it. I love photography. Digital has taken it to a whole different level where you can take tens of thousands of images without the cost associated with film. And you can't help but increase the quality of your photography if you're willing to take a ton of images. And that's definitely what I've done over the years as well. I love photography, as you can tell, and just hoping you check this out and give me a little bit of feedback and let me know what you think. So once again, John Weinberg, photo4a.com, and send me a note. Let me know what you think. I'd love the feedback. Thank you for listening. Take care.